Hey guys, I made these cute dog collars. You're going to need 1/4 of a yard of fabric. I used two separate colors of fabric just for contrast with rickrack, and these are the things that I used. On my pattern, we measured the dog's necks, and then we added an 8.5 inch tie. So you'll do the same thing. You're just going to measure the length you need to go around your dog's neck, and then add the 8.5 inch tie to the end of that. I made these about 4 inches wide, which ended up being wider than she actually needed, but it worked out because she folded them down and you could see the contrast in the fabric, and it's really cute. But you may want to keep that in mind and not make these that wide. I cut one of each, but you're going to cut this on the fold, don't forget that. I got one of each fabric and one of interfacing. That's optional, you don't have to use it. We just like ours to be a little bit stiff. We start by ironing in our interfacing, and then I'm going to put the rickrack on. Now you can put this anywhere you want on your collar. I just suggest that you don't put it at the middle because that's going to fall right on your tie and you'll see the ends of your rickrack. So put it at the top or the bottom, just not the middle. We're going to lay them right sides together. Just stick a little pin in there just to kind of keep them from walking as you sew. Now I started at the bottom. You can start anywhere you want, whatever's convenient for you. I just like to start at the bottom. I leave about a 5/8 inch seam allowance just so that when I turn it right side out and I top stitch it, I don't have to worry about it catching the fabric in my seam so that the opening's closed. But again, it's whatever. I mean, if something different works for you, that's great. I'm nothing I do is set in stone. We're going to go all the way around, remembering to leave that opening so that we can turn it. Then we're going to snip where the tie comes in, where it curves in. Snip that so that it lays pretty when you turn it, and then snip the tips off of those points. Snip those curves and then snip the point. We're going to take our scissors. That's what I do. You can use something else if that works for you, but I just use my scissors since they're handy. I turn my collar. I just work that up in there toward the opening that I left. And before I take it off my scissors, I make sure I have that point worked out really well so that it lays down smooth. Gently pull that through. And then we're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. We're going to take our scissors and work that through to the opening, straightening out the tip, and then we're going to get it all laid out flat and iron it. Now we still have our opening that we had. It's still open. So here you could hand stitch that closed if you wanted to. I don't like hand stitching any whatsoever, so I top stitch these things so that I can close that hole. I do it at about 1/4 of an inch, I guess, 8 to 1/4, whatever. I just top stitch around it, and I'll show you where I use my crochet needle. When you get here to the tip, your machine is going to have a really hard time feeding that through, and you're going to need to help it so that it doesn't stand there and just go up and down in the same spot. You take that crochet needle and you just help push that fabric under your presser foot as you start sewing, and you'll see how much trouble it gives me on the other end when I get to it. I made about 12 of these that day, so this crochet needle is a lifesaver when you're working on stuff like this. Now see, I have to feed it really hard, so hard it pushed my machine backwards. But if you don't, it'll just sit there and go up and down in the same spot. That is it, guys. You're done. Snip those strings, and it's ready to go on the dog. I made 6 sets for her 2 dogs, and that's what the top stitching looks like. These are adorable. I made these for my friend, and she's the best pet mom I have ever seen. She dresses her babies so cute all the time. Look at that. Is that not the most lovable face you've ever seen? Oh my goodness. She dresses them adorable all the time. These collars are perfect. Guys, I hope you can use this idea and make some cute collars for your dogs. Thanks for watching.